covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we are focusing on golf. We think that's appropriate in Augusta, Georgia, to talk about golf for the entire edition of the Means Report, beginning with our friends at Club Car, talking about tariffs and the challenges that they're facing in the international market because of what a certain other country is doing. We're going to be educated on that front for sure in our first segment, and we're going to talk about the cool new vehicles that Club Car has on the market. And our friends at First Tee are back to talk about growing the game of golf and helping our young people be their best selves. And I am so happy to welcome my first guest. He is Mark Raquel, Vice President of Sales with Club Car LLC. Club Car, one of our favorite corporate citizens in Augusta. Mark, welcome to the Means Report. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Brad. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. All right, just a general question at first. How's the golf industry going? You know, some people you talk to, they'll say, oh, we need more people to take part in this sport. Others will say we're doing fine. How's golf overall?
Golf's been fantastic.
Yep.
So we've seen strong growth, obviously, through COVID. It was one of those sanctioned sports by the government where everybody could get out and be in public. So we've been a benefactor of that, and we've seen it grow ever since.
Okay, that's good news. And you're right, during those dark days, that was one of the only things we could do to get out and have fun, is to play golf. All right, let's talk about golf cars.
Sure.
By the way, since you're in the industry, it's golf car.
It's golf car.
It's not golf cart.
That's correct.
All right.
We're not dragging anything. We're driving people.
Thank you. All right, so we'll call them golf cars because that's what they are. What do y'all sell more of? Electric ones or gas ones, or does it depend on what part of the country you're in?
That's a great question. It does depend on what part of the country, but we are predominantly electric. About 80% electric, 20% gas. And one of the things that is kind of an interesting fact is we're second largest electric car manufacturer in the world behind Tesla.
Oh my gosh, so including ones that go on the open road, y'all are number two.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let me ask you about something else that's been in the headlines lately besides electric cars, and we have seen a lot of that. But what about tariffs? I was reading the other day about some of the industries that the Trump administration has placed tariffs on, and conversely, other countries are tariffing us, if you will. Has any of this affected Club Car so far? And I know we could spend the whole show on it, but if so, how?
Yeah, certainly with the new administration and what they're doing, there is a tariff that will certainly influence. But we've been pursuing another tariff, which is really more around anti-dumping. We've been pursuing the illegal activity with the Chinese that are dumping imports into this country. A lot of people don't appreciate the difference between the two, right?
Yeah.
So for us, it's more about pursuing an equitable market where there's fair practices. Just to give you a sense of that, there's about a 50% reduction in cost to those imports that are coming over that are subsidized by the Chinese government. That's what we went and attacked with the ITC and the Department of Commerce.
All right, I'm weak on international commerce, so walk me through this. That means that if the Chinese government is subsidizing the vehicles that come into our country and making them lower cost, then that might make a consumer say, I'm going to choose this Chinese vehicle, it's cheaper.
Absolutely correct. And unfortunately for them, again, we understand why, right? We make a decision with our dollars, but they don't understand the impact of that. And it's the illegal part of that is it's being subsidized, which means it's not a cost for cost. So I'll just throw out a number. If it's $5,000 to produce the car, they're subsidizing $2,500. They can bring it into the market at $2,500. We're stuck with our local costs, which makes us uncompetitive.
Any idea about what we can do to make China and potentially other countries stop doing this, or is it too early in the game?
Well, I think the actions that we've taken with the ITC and the Department of Commerce certainly are putting us into that position. We got some great results. We saw some really nice tariff impact plus countervailing duties. That's the first step. Now it becomes whack-a-mole. We got to chase all the other opportunities where they're going to try and evade those tariffs. So we're going to have to be vigilant and pursue that in the courts still.
And I think the viewers would appreciate this. Speaking of great industries that are in our town, we have so many of them. Y'all are teaming up with a rival to address this issue, right?
We are. We have a coalition with EasyGo and also some other key partners in the market to go after this. This is a big impact. And when you think about it, we're protecting U.S. manufacturing, but you bring it home here to the local CSRA, it's about all the people that work for both of these companies plus all the suppliers. So it's an ecosystem that's being impacted.
All right, so what if I am in the store or in the marketplace and I'm trying to decide which car to purchase, which low-speed personal transportation vehicle I am trying to buy? Why should I pick one of y'all's versus one of the Chinese vehicles?
Well, you know, being a U.S. manufacturer, I think is key. That's number one. I'll stick to Club Car. We have what we call the Club Car difference. There's certainly a pride in the people that are building these vehicles that you'll see. We also make sure that we're building this to automotive standards. We've got road load simulators that are testing this product. So we test every aspect of it. When you think about, if I put it in practicality, if you put all of your family members into this vehicle, you want it to stop at the stop sign, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're making sure happens in our products.
And there is so much quality control
Absolutely.
at y'all's plant on the assembly line. And you're right, you get what you pay for.
Correct.
I believe that. Well, let's just kind of take a step back and look at the golf car industry in general. So many people picture the vehicles that you use to get around a golf course, but I know there's so much more going on. What's new these days with y'all?
Well, there's a lot new. So just to, I don't know, we only had so much time,
Right.
but with the golf car, we've certainly introduced the Stop Smart technology. We got a whole new dash, which is more automotive in design, so everything's within reach to the user. It gives a better experience for the customer. We've also launched our new LSV product on our onward side. So, you know, that's new speed, LSV, low speed vehicle, which is governed by the federal regulations. So that's important to understand the differences. One PTV, personal transportation, you can drive it around your local communities. When you go on LSV, you can actually drive it on roads that are 35 miles an hour and below.
Okay, so what makes it street legal? Is it a certain amount of turn signals and mirrors?
Yes, you got to have turn signals, a horn. You have to have rollover protection. Obviously, you want to make sure the people inside of the vehicle are protected just in case there's any, potential for impact. And then, of course, you've got your side mirrors and the safety belts.
I'm not going to get you to weigh in on, age limits and who should drive your vehicles. Let me just kind of ask the question this way. If we're out on the roads and we see a golf car or any sort of low-speed personal transportation vehicle, what can we do as motorists to keep the world as safe as possible?
Well, being aware is important. They shouldn't be on roads that are over 35 miles an hour, so that's important for the owner to make sure they're complying to the laws. But also just realize that there may be younger people in those vehicles and just be considerate. 35 miles an hour, we're only doing 25, so you will catch up to them.
Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other Club Car products that you could use in the commercial sector, industrial, for hauling, utility, you name it. Is that still a good part of y'all's business? And what should we look for if we're looking to buy one of those? If we want to be the coolest person in the neighborhood with the best ride?
We've got a lot of different products. So if you think about it, you certainly have the golf space, we have a commercial space and a consumer space. In all of those, we have LSV, so low speed vehicles. So we can comply with the street legal laws and be out on the street. When you think about the products for the LSV, it's our crew product, which you talk about being cool.
Yeah.
This is a 6-seater. It's a fantastic looking product. I recommend people getting onto clubcar.com and taking a look at it. We also have our Urban product, which is a utility vehicle, and it's more built for final mile delivery. Also, we have our Gorilla product, which is really the luxury brand of our car, of our series of cars. And then the Onward is the new LSV that we're just launching today. And that's the consumer vehicle.
The Onward is the one we're going to hear about going forward.
We will.
Do y'all do the banging audio systems that are in some of those things, or is that aftermarket?
We do have an audio system.
Yeah.
I would say if you really want something that's really banging out there, you're probably going to have to go aftermarket.
That's so exciting. You know what else is exciting is y'all's participation in the Corn Ferry Tour.
Yes.
We have a big Club Car tournament coming. We're recording this on a Thursday. It airs on a Monday, so the week before Masters, y'all are going to be in Savannah. Tell me about that tournament and how exciting it is to be a part of that tour.
Super exciting. This is our 4th year being the title sponsor. It is also on the Golf Channel. This is the 2nd year on the Golf Channel. We do a lot with the local community. We do a lot all week long around fundraising. We had our biggest check that we wrote to the United Way last year through this whole approach with the Corn Ferry and the Club Car Championship. But being integrated into a community like that is super special. They come out and support, obviously, the championship, and then we're supporting the local community. So again, it's just a really nice relationship.
Well, and our local community too, Mark.
Absolutely.
The proceeds from that benefit us here at home, as you mentioned.
Absolutely does.
All right, that's good news. Just time for a couple more questions maybe. What about Masters Week for y'all? Is it crazy, or is the hay already kind of in the barn at that point and y'all can just have fun that week?
That week we tend to have a little more fun.
Yeah.
Club Car Championship is definitely a heavy lift because we prepare all year. But for Masters, we certainly have our hospitality house and we bring our guests. We enjoy the Masters every year, and it's just kind of more of a letdown week for us, but we're enjoying it thoroughly.
Well, I appreciate all the information we've packed into this 11-minute segment or so. I've learned a ton, and I hope you'll come back.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Mark Raquel, the Vice President of Sales for Club Car LLC, on the Means Report.